The sun is shining in the sky, hardly a cloud in sight, and we are going to have a fantastic race here today.
Drivers, start your engine!
Cause we want retribution. Yeah, we want retribution.
But coming to the green here, it's going to clean out real well. Pace car's off, kick some ass.
There's the green flag and we're underway.
Green, 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 green. Outside, still there at your door. Good job, man. Nice and solid. Take care of yourself.
Three wide.
Here, Hawkins into the wall.
Oh, big trouble!
Crash in the back. Oh, there's a crash in the back.
Trouble!
Great job, doing awesome, buddy.
Well, I was on the wrong screen, but you know what? A little ill-prepared, but hey, it's okay. Because we're here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for race number 17 of the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. It is the Quaker State 400. And folks, after tonight, there'll be 4 races left. 4 points paying races left, to be more specific, after tonight. 163 laps of action to decide what the fate of, obviously, the point standings is going to look like. Obviously, we've talked about it in obviously this morning during qualifying, which I do apologize for not promoting qualifying in the WRLA Discord server. I was kind of just in a hurry, but we talked about it a little bit during WRLA Pepsi Cup Series qualifying earlier today, that obviously, for those that may have missed it, last week at Minnesota, it was Kyle Craven that went on to win the M&M's 400. And not only that, Russell Blaze, man, Blaze was just a quarter of the way into the race. Pit stops were getting ready to begin, and unfortunately there was a pretty decent sized crash that unfortunately involved Russell Blaze and took him out of contention for a potential race win, and also an opportunity to capitalize on nabbing the points lead from Terry Walker, who still holds on to the points lead miraculously. However, Blaze is now 13 points behind Terry Walker, and there is a new runner-up in the points standings. We're going to go ahead and take a look at your points right now. As you see, it is a 2-point gap between Terry Walker and new runner-up Kyle Craven. Russell Blaze, he's not out of it. He's still within a pretty decent arm's reach of the points gap. Skylar Taylor creeping up as well in the 4th position. Stephen Colon completes your top 5 as we go to the next page. There's Nia Steidel in the number 6, 289 points to her name, currently sitting 14th on the board. Wound up finishing 2nd, actually, last week at Minnesota, and that 2nd place was just enough to help her get back inside of the top 15 in the points standings. Wyatt Walker not faring too well this year, as this juncture of the season. 231 points to his name, 28th in the standings. Phillips with a great run last week, got herself 226 points, moved up 1 spot. Bruno Diacomo, another driver, he's starting on the pole actually, so he'll be leading the field with the green flag, so he might have himself a good opportunity to get some really good points. Alex Bonsinger, another driver who did pretty well last week. Stapleton, unfortunately, luck was not on his side, but the best part about this week is that he is starting a little bit closer to the front of the field, as you see Jerry Rosen, Aaron Abel, 35th and 36th on the points bracket. But things should be pretty interesting. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, I mean, as you see, we do have Bobby McGuire, who is also in this race, and Janiah Hill. They both made the show, so they both are actually going to be Obviously, they're going to be racing together. So, I mean, it's been a little bit since they've both been in the same race at the same time, but it's been a pretty good run from McGuire Motorsports here today. They actually topped the Go or Go Homer charts during the knockout qualifying sessions in order to get into the show. So why don't we go ahead and bring up Bobby McGuire here real quick. Bobby, it's me, Elijah Leonard, here in the booth. You got a copy, sir.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, hey, what's up, Elijah? Sorry, Tim just handed my crew chief just handed me the headset. How you doing?
Well, actually doing pretty well. It's actually been a hot minute since we've done in-race reporter stuff, but Bobby, you made the race. You also have Janiyah in here as well. I'm having a little bit of a brain stroke, but don't mind me. But you are starting a little bit further in the back, 29th position, and Janiyah does start, I believe, 17th. But you've got a little bit more work cut out for you. What is your strategy coming into this one?
I've been on the sim all week, Elijah. I tell you what, I'm ready for this Atlanta race, man. I've been just grinding out in the sim. Yeah, I started back a little bit. Didn't have the best qualifying. It's all right. Hit the sim after qualifying and ready to just get going. You'll see me climb the field fast and quick. Probably burn through a set of tires here, but, we'll be all right.
We know you're also going full time next year, and you could definitely use a race like this to kind of get a little bit more notes kind of gathered up so that way you can get ready for the next year. How excited are you to go full time in 2026?
Super excited, man. I can't wait. So thankful for the opportunity, Interstate Batteries, MBNA, all the opportunities they gave me to be able to let me go full time. I think Janiyah is going full time as well. I think we're signing her. Couple other pickups. I think one more pickup at the end of the season. Just so thankful to all my team around me, the pit guys, just everyone, engineers, get me ready to go full time next year. Can't say enough great things about my team that we built around McGuire Motorsports.
Well, I know we touched on that earlier in the year before we started qualifying at the Rock, and you definitely seemed pretty excited. You definitely were energized and ready to go. I know Janiyah was definitely felt the same way going full time for the next year, but here we are for this race. You both are in it. Bobby, best of luck to both you and Janiyah here in this race. 163 laps. Go get it, man.
Thank you. I'm gonna hop in this car. See you guys at the start finish.
So that was Bobby McGuire, the driver of the number 3 Interstate Battery Chevy Camaro. Starting 29th here in this race, and we're going to go ahead. That's actually a pretty good segue. Let's go ahead and take a look at your starting lineup here for the Quaker State 400 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Bruno Diacomo, Roberto Crown Jr., they're going to lead the field down to the green flag. And first and second in the point standings, Terry Walker, Kyle Craven, they line up row 2. Great run for Nathan Stapleton and Noah Clifton. They both make up the third row. Andrew Ramsey, Zachary Taylor, row 4. Alex Bonsignor and Wayne Lopez, row number 5. Janiyah Hill starting in the 18th position. I stand corrected on that. I thought it was 17th, but no, it was 18th. But still row 9 nonetheless. You see Sebastian Vaughn actually starting in the 13th position. CG Hall, 2 drivers that are in desperate needs of some really great runs. Could get him here today. There's third place in the point standings. Russell Blaze starting in the 21st position. And then we also have Stephen Colon, our 2-time winner. Nia Steidel starting in the 14th spot. Claire Phillips starting in 30th. Emily Anderson in the 25th position. We talked to Bobby McGuire a little bit ago, starting in the 29th. We go to the next page. There's Wyatt Walker, 28th in the point standings. So Wyatt is definitely looking for a fantastic run here today. And there's Skylar Taylor, 3rd place in the point standings. Not the best starting position for him. He's going to need his work cut out for him. He's definitely going to have his work cut out for him once we go green. And there's your provisional starters, Aaron Abel and also Braden Perez in the number 88. Man, we have had a lot of great racing so far throughout the course of the year, and we're getting ready to have a little bit more. And 163 laps to distance. It's going to be a very, very fun one. Who will win the Quaker State 400? Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to find out. If the game does appear a little bit glitchy throughout the race, I do want to apologize for that. It didn't do this during testing, so we're just going to have to bear with me here. But in the meantime, Drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are wrapping up. But in order to get the command to fire the engines, let's go trackside and get just that. I don't know what it didn't make sense, but you know what? It's fine. I can't say English. Let's go trackside.
Driver, start your engine.
There it is. Engines have been fired. Pace car is rolling off, and so are these 42 competitors. And leading the field to the green flag, I would say for the first time in his Pepsi Cup Series career, it's Bruno Giacomo for Appalachia Motorsports. They've managed to get their luck turned around as of late throughout the course of these last few months. You know, you had Caleb Rose, who managed to dig himself out of a very deep hole, being dead last in the point standings, now being somewhere inside of the top 20. Bruno Giacomo has been getting some really good runs as well. So I'm very excited to see what Appalachia Motorsports is going to be building up for the rest of the season. 4 points paying races left on the year after tonight, but 6 races overall have yet to be run, and that starts right here, right now, for the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series here at Atlanta. Field makes their way through turn number 4, this time by 163 laps to distance. What will the points gap look like for Terry Walker? Will he retain the points lead? Will Kyle Craven come in and steal it away? Or will Russell Blaze come in third party like he would in Fortnite Blitz Royale? Pace car is off, and Bruno Giacomo and Roberto Crown Jr. lead us to green. Stapleton right out of the gate being aggressive, heading into the third corner, trying to make it 3 wide, but they are already 3 wide. You got Andrew Ramsey in the middle of that little fiasco, back to the stripe to lead lap number 1. That was Terry Walker in the number 48 machine, so he gets that. Actually, wait a minute. No, that was Bruno Giacomo. Okay, I take that back. Bruno Giacomo managed to lead lap number 1 of the race, so give him the first lap of action. You give him that bonus point as well. So we're going to use this little ticker, at least for the time being, until there are a little less cars. But in the meantime, still really good racing going on. Battle for the lead is on. Here comes Nathan Stapleton in the 97 down to the inside of Terry Walker, who just almost gets into the wall there, going through 1 and 2. Still hanging tough on the outside. Giacomo in the middle. Ramsey down on the bottom. There's Alex Bonsignor in the 22 down on the inside, but he has no help down there. Clifton in the middle. Man, you saw just how close the 22, the 99, and the 28 all got to each other going through the quad oval. That is definitely going to be something to watch out for as this race continues on. But down the back straightaway they go. Nathan Stapleton now has the race lead. He gets that bonus point for leading a lap here as we come around to complete 4 laps here at Atlanta. Clifton down on the inside. Ramsey still in the middle of a 3 wide situation. Crown gets into the outside wall. Oh, that's not good news there for Roberto Crown Jr. So he's going to lose a lot of ground, and that's going to stack everybody up on the outside line. Maybe a little bit down on the inside. How about Emily Anderson making it 3 abreast underneath of all Alexander Rowe? Just about everybody down there on the inside line. You see Russell Blaze, 3rd place in the point standings. Right now, he's currently scored in the 20th spot. Remember, he comes into this race 13 points behind points leader Terry Walker. he definitely is going to need a good run if he wants to pull himself back into legit championship contention, or at least within fingertips reach of the points lead. Giacomo just barely let that lap over the 97 of Nathan Stapleton. And there's Kyle Craven looking to go back-to-back here in the Pepsi Cup Series. Remember last week he wound up winning at Minnesota to get himself second, to put himself in the runner-up spot in the point standings to try to go after Terry Walker. If the race were to end right here, right now, that would mean Kyle Craven would just barely escape with the points lead. And look at what's going on back over here. The field's starting to get a little bit strung out, actually. I'm a little surprised by this because I would have... Oh, Janiyah Hill in the wall. Coming off of turn number 2. She just scraped that baby all the way through the turn 2 wall. That stacks a lot of these drivers up, and Bobby McGuire's going to go right on by, so put him in the 22nd position. His Valkyrie Atikian as well behind him. They're going to fight it out for the I'd say the 23rd spot, actually, 22nd, actually. So Atikian's going to wind up getting it over Stephen Colon. And there's Zachary Fitzwater in 98. So Fitzy's a little bit further back here than, a little bit, obviously further in the back, obviously not getting the best of qualifying runs. And hold the phone, 3 wide up here for the race lead. Stapleton was just barely able to lead that lap over his teammate Noah Clifton and Kyle Craven, who's up on that extreme outside line. You know, I'm kind of wondering, because of the cloud cover, are these drivers, obviously the drivers do have a little bit more grip, but since it's a little bit earlier in the race, are these drivers kind of cutting each other a little bit of slack? Chances are, I definitely say so, because I would have expected there to be a caution, maybe like right around lap 4 when I did some testing, but that appears to not be the case. So Craven holding on to the race lead, at least for the temporary moment. And here's CG Halt in the number 17. Halt is one of those drivers that has been wanting a good run for quite a while this year, and coming into this race, he's just outside of the top 30 in the point standings. And I'd say the one thing that I think CG Halt would want more than anything is a race win. A win here in today's race would definitely change the confidence of the 17 team for Walker Family Motorsports. And I think that would definitely help CG Halt at least try to finish out the season strong as he possibly can. Because you obviously got Terry Walker, who's still holding onto the point sleeve just barely as of right now, as he tries to put the block on Noah Clifton, but Clifton goes even lower. So 3 wide here for third. Top 2 pull away. That's Bruno Giacomo and Kyle Craven, as they're going to fight it out side by side for the lead, heading through turn number 1 and 2. Look at all these drivers go really wide through the corners here, allowing each other a crap load of room going through the corners. But you're going to see some drivers kind of hug that third line almost right up against the wall, it seems. And I'm also starting to notice that these drivers are starting to spread out just a little bit. 3 wide over here. You got Clifton on the bottom, Bonsinger in the middle, Alexander Rowe up top, and there is Russell Blaze in the 69. Managed to make his way, currently scored up into the 16th position. But as of right now, he would be in a pretty decent spot. I would say pretty decent spot to at least get close to top 10. Okay, I stand corrected. I don't even know what I'm saying there, but you guys kind of get what I'm saying here. But Blaze is in a pretty good spot to at least try to get close to the top 10. And you see Reagan Whitlock go up against the outside wall, and Campbell Marsh hits the wall, comes back up across the track, and collects Caleb Rose. Wyatt Walker involved. Jerry Rose, Aaron Abel, Skylar Taylor, third in the point standings. There's the caution. It flies on lap 17, and Kyle Craven is going to lead him down. What a way to start off this race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm actually impressed of how far we've gone, because I thought we would have... I genuinely thought we would have had a wreck on lap number 4, but that appears to not be the case whatsoever. Man, Campbell Marsh. It's a shame. He actually was running pretty good. I mean, pretty good, you know, to start off this race. Unfortunately, lots of damage to the Frame Elite Ford Mustang. Rogel Dorn, our winner from Darlington, a little buckle on the hood of his car. There's Caleb Rose, Jerry Rose, and Wyatt Walker, man. Decent amount of damage to his car, but it looks like he's going to try to soldier this car on. Jerry Rose, however, will not. He goes behind the wall. He is done for the night here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Lots of extensive work going on to the 04 and 19 cars. There's Bobby McGuire getting service done to his race machine. He's down and away. I thought there was a little bit of damage to Janiah Hill's car, but it looks like she's having a little bit of problems on the right side of her machine. But it should be pretty interesting to see how the single file restart's going to go. Kyle Craven currently is your race leader. So let's go back and take a look at what happened to Campbell Marsh that set off our first yellow of the evening here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Of course, Kyle Craven is your race leader. But we're about to find out just exactly what caused that first caution. What sent that number 38 around almost into the inside wall. So we're going to look at this from a slightly different camera angle. We're going to look from the spectator view, see if we can get a little bit of some better frames, if you will. But there is the 38 up in the middle, and it looks like Bobby McGuire, he slides up just a little bit, thinking he might be clear. Actually, no, he was clear. But I think it might have been just Reagan Whitlock's riding the wall for so long, and then she comes down into the path of McGuire, who then bounces off into Campbell Marsh. Marsh, at this point, lost control of the car. He wound up hitting the inside wall, shot back up across the track, collects Caleb Rose, Quentin Moore. So that's, I do believe, also why Janiah Hill also spent a little bit of extra time on pit road. Braden Perez, Wyatt Walker, Jordan Sumner, Rogel Dorn as well. Man, Wyatt, unfortunately, it's just like Nathan Stapleton. He just cannot catch a break, especially at this juncture of the season where he's trying to go for all that he can get. Man, he's just an innocent bystander to this one. He just had nowhere to go whatsoever. He was riding in the 35th position when all this happened. So let's take a look. This time from the TV1 cam. At speed. Yeah, you see Whitlock hits the wall, comes down on the nose of McGuire, and that sends them both down into Marsh, who then hits the wall, shoots back up, and collects all these guys. Both of the Racing Motorsports cars of Skylar Taylor, our winner from Vegas, and Aaron Abel. Caleb Rose, Jerry Rose, Rogel Dorn as well, Jordan Sumner, Braden Perez. It's just unfortunate for some of these guys to get wrecked out early, but thankfully for some of them, like Wyatt, we just saw he's going to soldier the car on, at least from what we know, because he didn't pull it behind the wall right out of the gate. Neither did the 04 of Quentin Moore, so it looks like these car drivers might soldier their machines on. However, I would not be surprised if they wound up being I would say more so just slower. Definitely slower than the rest of the leaders, because we've seen it a lot at tracks bigger than 1.5 miles, and 1.5 miles and bigger. Where these cars are so aerodynamic dependent, one little bit of damage, whether it be on the left side, right side, more particularly the hoods of the cars, it's just game over. Even just the smallest amount of damage can just mean game over to your race. And there you see our 4 retirees. First one being Campbell Marsh. He is going behind the wall, our runner-up from Minnesota. Not going to see the checkered flag fall here today. Jordan Sumner and both of the Roses, Jerry and Caleb, are out of this one. And you see Wyatt and also the 04 of Quentin Moore. Both of these drivers have rejoined the race, but they are going to be on the tail end of the lead lap, or the tail end of the field, still on the lead lap. But I'm curious to see how much that damage is going to affect them as this race progresses on. So, as we get ready to go back racing here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, I think we're going to get 1 to go this time by. So your top 10 in the meantime is going to look like this before we go back to green. Kyle Craven currently right now is the race leader. CG Holt sitting in the 2nd position. Nathan Stapleton right now running in 3rd. Then it's Tanner Parton in the 4th position. Then 5th is the 85 of Zachary Taylor. Wayne Lopez 6th. Sebastian Vaughn 7th. Bruno Diacomo, our pole sitter, 8th. Terry Walker 9th. And completing your top 10, that would be the 67 of Andrew Ramsey. Field has just taken 1 to go, so we'll be going green flag racing next time by. Just in case, if you're wondering where our top 3 championship contenders are currently running right now, obviously Terry Walker, we mentioned it, he's currently running 9th. Kyle Craven currently right now is the race leader, and Russell Blaze, well, he finds himself, as the ticker is gonna have a little bit of an aneurysm. Where's he at? I can't even find. There he is, 15th. Blaze is currently running 15th right now as we get ready to go back under the green flag here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Get a good swig of that Pepsi before we get ready to go back to work. Field is going to make their way through turns 3 and 4 this time by. They'll restart with 20 laps complete. Well, they managed to do pretty well with a double file start. Let's see how long they can go green flag racing under a single file restart. No drivers are a lap down or more. Only 4 retirees in this race. Both of the Roses, Campbell Marsh, and as well as the 20 of Jordan Sumner. Back to green they go. And Kyle Craven, CG Holt, they get a pretty good jump over Stapleton, Parton, and Zachary Taylor. First driver to dive down to the inside. That's Sebastian Vaughn in the 54. Looks like Terry Walker's going to go with as well. And then you have a couple other Fords. Alexander Rowe, Russell Blaze lining up on the inside. And here comes Holt to the inside for the race lead. And it looks like Nathan Stapleton is going to go with him. Stapleton, a man on a mission right now, as he's going to go for the top position. Stapleton has not won a Pepsi Cup Series race since March of 2020 at the Auto Club Speedway. Managed to win it over Samet Oskin, who was running out of fuel on the final lap. Managed to swoop around the 05 machine for the race victory. Stapleton not going to lead the lap this time around. CG Holt barely leads it by a nose. They head back through 1 and 2 this time by. And it looks like that 97 is going to have the advantage coming off of turn 2, maybe edging ahead down the back straightaway into the third corner. And maybe just might get clear of the 90s of the 17 of Halt. Halt fighting back on the outside with a little bit of a shove from the 28 of Kyle Craven. He also got Sebastian Vaughn lined up on the outside. Looks like Lopez, Giacomo, and Zachary Taylor are going to go with him. Oh, I thought the game was going to crash there. Thank goodness it didn't. Oh, I almost had a panic attack. A little bit of 3-wide action going on over here. You got Russell Blaze in the middle. There's Alex Bonsignor right around the outside. And Reagan Whitlock down there on the inside. Now it's settled down to double file, at least momentarily. Oh, Terry Walker in the outside wall. Walker got a little bit too high going through 1 and 2. And now he's going to lose a couple positions. There goes Blaze to the inside. That is going to be some good news for somebody like Kyle Craven, because if the race were to end today, that means Craven would escape with the points lead, because remember, the points gap between Walker and Craven is 2 points. 2 points. And that gap leaving today would only be a little bit bigger because Kyle Craven led a lap to get a bonus point. And who knows, he might leave here today with 5 bonus points. We're just going to have to find out once that checker flag waves and once those point standings get released in the WRLA Discord. Halt doing a fantastic job holding off Nathan Stapleton for the top position. Stapleton trying to do everything he can to wrestle the lead away from the 17 of CG Halt, but he's doing it all by himself. And in the process of all that, they've broken out by about a third of a second over third and fourth, who are fighting it out. That's Kyle Craven, Wayne Lopez on the outside. They might be able to catch him this time. They come off turn 2 about dead even down the back straightaway. CG Halt now breaks out with the lead. And Vaughn, oh, he's almost left the door wide open for a 3-wide move for the top position, but thankfully, nothing really transpires of it, at least for now. But Halt is going to still hold on to that top spot. Meanwhile, further in the back, Ryan Little scraped the wall coming off of turn number 2, so he's going to drop quite a few positions. He was 20th, so he might wound up falling outside of the top 25 potentially. Actually 25th across the stripe, so he only lost 5 spots. Meanwhile, further up at the front of the field, here's Russell Blaze knocking on the door of the top 5 as he works his way to the inside of the 85 of Zachary Taylor. He has no help down there, but he's making it work. Possibly might use the side draft to his advantage. He edges ahead of the 85, and he's going to take 5th away. Now he's going to go to work on Sebastian Vaughn. And he's got help from Alex Bonsignor in the 22. Ooh, Craven got really close to scraping that wall coming off of the second corner. Thankfully, nothing happened there. And we stay green. So now Blaze lines up on the outside in front of the runner-up in points, Kyle Craven. Alexander Rowe making his way to the inside of the 95 of Bruno Giacomo, who started on the pole for this one and has been fairly consistently hanging around inside of the top 10. And whoa. They're about to catch Rogel Dorn here in a couple of laps. He's making his way through turn 2 this time as these guys are getting ready to go down into turn 1, fighting hard for the race lead. That's Wayne Lopez down on the bottom, CG Halt up on the top. It would be huge if Wayne Lopez were to go to victory lane here in the Pepsi Cup Series. He wound up winning in his McDonald's Series debut. For those that don't know, yeah, we used to have a Series, a B Series, and a C Series. Obviously, Venom Truck Series was kind of like what the Craftsman Truck Series is. The McDonald's Series, which was the Xfinity Series. And obviously, you got the NOS Energy Cup Series, which is now currently the Pepsi Cup Series. And Wayne Lopez wound up winning in his debut McDonald's Series race, in his overall WRLA debut. So who knows? He could very well go to victory lane here for his first Pepsi Cup Series win. He's come close a couple times. Maybe today could be the day. They've all but caught Rogel Dorn this time. What are these drivers going to do? What is CG Hall going to do? He's going to move down to the inside, hoping that the 86 of Dorn is going to stay high. So he gets by him pretty successfully. So does Stapleton and Vaughn and Taylor. Maybe even Wayne Lopez if he's able to get down there. And so far he is. Oh, a little close right there. That's pretty close for comfort. Oh, but Dorn, and I'm going to say this very sarcastically, is being a great teammate right there. Oh, Abby Walker gets into the outside wall. Almost comes down into Val Moscow. Thankfully, she's able to keep the car straight, but she's going to lose a lot of momentum. And we're going to have ourselves a little stack up here with Rogel Dorn trapping everybody on that outside, including his own teammate, who then decides, I've had enough of this. He dives low, but Terry's going to try to dive even lower. So man, oh man, everybody, a lot of drivers are currently just having trouble trying to get by Rogel Dorn, whose car is absolutely damaged and wounded and absolutely just slower than all the rest. Where is, well, there's Braden Perez. He's working his way off of 2. You have these 3, Wyatt Walker, Skylar Taylor, Quentin Moore. They're pretty... They're in pretty good shape, at least for a little while longer, but I'm not sure for how much longer. As Brandon Perez works his way down the front straightaway into turn 1, these guys are just coming on the front stretch. But CG Halt, I'm very impressed with him because he's been able to hold on to this race lead for as long as he has, and he has done a very fantastic job, of course, trying to lead as many laps as he possibly can, because he knows if he leads, obviously if he leads the most laps, which is looking to be possibly the case here if this race goes green for just long enough, and if he's able to capitalize on his pit stops throughout the race, there's a pretty good chance we could see CG Hall go to victory lane. But those 5 bonus points, I mean, even if he doesn't win, would be absolutely huge. Even if, I mean, if Kyle Craven doesn't get them, or if Russell Blaze doesn't get those 5 bonus points, not even if Terry Walker gets those 5 bonus points, I mean, even if Terry Walker doesn't get them, it still retains the points lead after today. I mean, that could be good news for Walker Family Motorsports when you take a look at drivers that have been absolutely struggling throughout the year, like CG Hall, for instance, who has been doing such a masterful job of holding on to this race lead for as long as he has. So now they're catching up to Braden Perez in the 88. He's working his way on the front stretch now. These guys coming off of turn 4. I'd say give it another half a lap, and by that time they will already have figured out exactly what they're going to do with the 88 of Perez. Everybody currently in a single file choo-choo train. Up until you get over here where everybody's still having a little bit of problems trying to get by the 86 of Dorn. Now Cologne makes his way to the inside. Man, if you're, man, we talked to Bobby before we even started the race, and I would have to imagine, or at least in this moment, his mood just changed because he is right behind the 86 of Rogaldorn, and he probably isn't going to be a happy camper because he basically lost a lot of positions just sitting behind that 86 for as long as he did, but now finally makes his way to the inside and goes around him. But look at what it did. Look at what staying behind Rogaldorn did. I mean, at least for the moment, because look at this. An inside line just formed with Wayne Lopez trying to make something happen. But now Bruno Diacomo is the leader of the inside line. He doesn't have a lot of friends down there to help him. I mean, you got Tanner Parton in the 07, but other than that, I don't see anybody else making a run down to the bottom of the racetrack to try to form a second groove or a second line. But meanwhile, up at the front of the field, I mean, you got Nathan Stapleton still trying to wrestle his way around the 88 of Paradin Perez, who's actually holding his own, ahead, in front of Nathan Stapleton currently. I mean, at least for the moment. Ooh, Terry Walker got a little bit squirrely there on the exit of the quad oval. Thankfully, he was able to hold on to that one, but now we have Stapleton and now Terry Walker trying to form that inside line again. The question is, who's actually going to go this time? You had Russell Blaze down there for a little while. Now they're kind of going back into a little single file train, if you will. Now Stapleton. Ooh, yeah, he doesn't have anybody with him, so he is going to be hung out to dry in the 97 machine. He was shown 4th. Now he's fallen back to 7th, and from the looks of things, he's probably going to fall outside of the top 10. And Blaze, he's looking for every piece of real estate that he can. He just dove to the inside of Bruno Diacomo. He's going to get right on the back bumper of Nathan Stapleton, trying to see if he could probably maybe move him up to the second groove, but looks like that probably isn't going to be the case, at least for the time being. But it's been a 3-car breakaway as we look at the front of the field, with CG Holt leading the charge and Sebastian Vaughn in the second position. We touched on it a little bit ago. Vaughn and Holt, again, these are two drivers that are very, very deep in the point standings. Obviously, just outside of the top 30. I believe CG is actually inside of the top 30, whereas Vaughn is not. Let me go ahead and confirm that here by going back and looking through the point standings. But it's been a 3-car breakaway between these 3 drivers in particular. Holt, Vaughn, and Zachary Taylor. And actually, I do stand corrected. They're both 31st and 32nd in the point standings. So Holt definitely looking for his first win on the year. And also the 54 of Sebastian Vaughn looking for his first career victory. Zachary Taylor trying to look for his first win of the season. And, obviously first win of the season, second of his career. Well, if you guys do not have a Twitch sub, the ad break is getting ready to start. But if you do have your Prime subs, be sure to check for your Prime subs. If you do have one, you can subscribe to the Twitch channel for free in order to watch these WRLA Pepsi Cup Series races and other streams commercial free. But if you don't, I'm sorry, ad breaks are coming up now. Saw a little bit ago, you saw the 48 of Terry Walker. He was right up against the outside wall, and by the time that he came off the wall, he almost came down into the path of Wayne Lopez and almost got himself turned around. I'm actually kind of shocked of, obviously, just of how these drivers have been able to keep it together for the most part, and actually have been able to keep it clean and keep it green. At least for the time being. I mean, we're 53 laps complete this time by. And it's been a 3-car breakaway because we take a look at the gap between third and fourth. It's literally 2 seconds. It is a 2-second gap between the top 3, Wayne Lopez, Terry Walker, who are fighting it out for fourth. That wasn't much of a fight. That was more so of Terry just letting Wayne Lopez go and taking the 4th position and say, oh, not so fast. Not so fast there. I'm going to take that 4th position away. And I think Terry just took it right back. But meanwhile, you also got Nathan Stapleton and Alex Bonsignor. They're fighting it out for what looks to be the 8th position. Stapleton is going to retain that. And Bonsignor, who's on the bottom side, well, unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot of help. That top side seems to be pretty decently organized, so he's able to, I mean, at least he's able to finally find a spot in line. Oh, I thought so. Noah Clifton said, not so fast. Not so fast, he said. So Clifton is going to move his way inside of the top 10 in the number 99 machine. Actually, no, he just only picked up 1 spot, but he is 1 step closer to breaking inside of the top 10. Clifton also trying to look for his first win of the season, as is Nathan Stapleton, as is Parton, Reagan Whitlock, Emily Anderson in the number 4, trying to go for win number 3 on the year. She won at North Wilkesboro and as well as Indianapolis to become the all-time winningest driver in WRLA history. Remember, she won at Texas in 2017. She won at Richmond in 2020. And then, of course, this year, North Wilkesboro and Indianapolis, now trying to add Atlanta onto her resume for her 5th Pepsi Cup Series win of her career. Well, we might as well go ahead and say all aboard, because everybody is gone for the most part, single file. There have been some attempts of just trying to get an inside line formed, but the max that we've been seeing is only just 2 drivers that would make the move to the inside, and everybody else would stay around the high side. So pretty interesting to see how everything has kind of been shaping up for the most part. So I'm actually kind of surprised that we have not seen a second line form and actually stay formed. But man, I'm actually kind of shocked that these 3 drivers have been able to pull away as far out as they have, and they've done an absolutely masterful job of achieving this sort of feat, because it's just wild. It's absolutely wild to me. Ooh, Vaughn getting pretty close to that outside wall there. But so far, it has been the top 3 pulling away. Now a 3-second gap between 3rd and 4th place. We're going to take a look further in the back of this pack, because you see a lot of where the racing is currently at. There's Val Moscow in the 33, trying to get to the inside of Alex Bonsignor. There's the Walkers, Terry, who is the points leader, and Abby Walker, who won at Iowa earlier this year. Now, obviously, for those that do know, I mean, we know that when McGuire Motorsports goes to full-time racing in 2026, McGuire's number 3 will then become the number 18. Yes, that's right. You heard that correctly. Bobby McGuire will then drive the number 18 Interstate Battery Chevrolet in the 2026 season. They have bought the number from the team, so the number doesn't transfer over to McGuire Motorsports until the next season. Now, what number exactly is Abby Walker going to be driving in 2026? Well, a decision was pretty much made last month, and the number that Abby will be driving is the number 16. Obviously with M&M's still as the primary sponsor, but when we get to 2026, I think you might find the paint scheme for Abby Walker pretty interesting once we get to 2026. I'm not going to reveal it just yet. We might reveal it by the time we get to October, so that way you know exactly what the cars are going to look like for next year. So, if you're not in the WRLA Discord, be sure to join up in the WRLA Discord. If you're watching on YouTube, otherwise you can go to the other YouTube videos, whether it be on the WRLA YouTube channel or even, oh wait, crash in the back. Monaco and Cologne got together. Both cars off the racetrack. Thankfully, they save it. No caution. We stay green. And it looks like both drivers are going to elect to stay on the racetrack. That was actually kind of wild. I thought we would have had ourselves a second caution here tonight, but that's not the case. We stay green. But Monaco, who was top 10 in the point standings, that's not something that he needed at all. So chances are he probably is going to fall outside of the top 10 in the point standings. Pit stops are taking place. Pit stops are underway here at Atlanta. You saw Sebastian Vaughn. He came into the pits. He's amongst the front runners to come on down. There's Wyatt Walker, Aaron Abel. They're both in. Also, Rogeldorn in the 86, Cologne, Ray Atikian, Ajax Fitzgerald, Wayne Lopez is in as well. And let's see who else is coming in. Here come the leaders. A pretty big gap between CG Halt and as well as Nathan Stapleton coming on down into the pits. Valkyrie Atikian is in, as is Abby Walker, Claire Phillips, Bobby McGuire, Terry Walker, Janiyah Hill, Eric Monaco, and others are on pit road. Quentin Moore going to make his pit stop. And here come the rest of the other cars on pit road. There's Alexander Rowe in the number 34. He's in. Let's see who stayed out. I think the 99 of Noah Clifton wound up staying out, as did the 22 of Alex Bonsignor. So Clifton is going to assume the race lead, at least for the moment. And Bonsignor will be in the second position, at least temporarily. And it looks like they're both going to make their way down to pit road. So they'll surrender first and second. Andrew Ramsey's coming in, as is Joshua Cornish. Cornish looking for some redemption here today. You know, last week he started on the pole and hung around top 5, top 10 pretty, consistently within the first quarter of last week's race in Minnesota before getting taken out. Right around lap 49, lap 50. So Cornish thankfully was able to make this race, and he's going to have a go at getting his first Pepsi Cup win on the season, the second of his career. Last time he won a WRLA Pepsi Cup competition was Phoenix in the spring of 2020. You heard that correctly. So well over 5.5 years since Joshua Cornish went to victory lane in a WRLA race. So now the question is, I'm pretty sure Sebastian Vaughn is going to be the race leader. So then who would be running in second? I'm pretty sure Vaughn would take the race lead. Indeed he does. So Sebastian Vaughn is officially going to be your new race leader. Then running in second would be the 17 of CG Halt. So now they pretty much have swapped positions. Ajax Fitzgerald currently being scored in third. Wayne Lopez in fourth. Then in fifth is the 85 of Zachary Taylor. Currently running in sixth, that's Nathan Stapleton. Then in seventh is Reagan Whitlock. Valkyrie Atiki in eighth. Then Ryan Little being scored on the ninth spot. Actually, hold up. Change, a little bit of change here. So, Little 8th, Atikia 9th, and Kyle Craven completes your top 10 with 71 laps complete this time by. So, almost to the halfway mark here of the Quaker State 400 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just for those who are just now tuning in, we've only had one caution, surprisingly. It came out on lap 17, and we only have had 4 retirees in this race, and you see them right there. Campbell Marsh, Jordan Sumner, and both Jerry and Caleb Rose. No relation between the both of them, by the way, as you see CG Halt take the race lead back away from the 54 of Sebastian Vaughn across the stripe, heading back into turn 1. Look at Vaughn putting the crossover on the 17 of CG Halt as they go down the back straightaway. Man, even if you're a team owner running in this race, you have to be wondering what kind of information you're being given about your other cars, because CG Hall and also Sebastian Vaughn fighting hard for the race lead. But if you are Wyatt Walker, you have to be happy that at least, even if it's not you, one of your other cars is still in contention for this race. Still in contention for a potential race win if he's able to hold on here for the next 90 laps, actually. I'd say the same thing could be said for Sebastian Vaughn here in the 54. Remember, he and Jordan Sumner co-own Moonstar Enterprise. Vaughn running the full-time efforts and Jordan Sumner currently running on a part-time basis, and that's going to be the same way. That's going to be the same case heading into the 2026 season. Look at this, 3 wide up here. There's Nathan Stapleton in the middle. Zachary Taylor on the bottom. Reagan Whitlock up top. Wayne Lopez and Ajax Fitzgerald. So far, it's a 5-horse fight for third. We get a little bit further back here. There's Kyle Craven, Alexander Rowe getting into the outside walls. They head down the back straightaway. This pack being led by Ryan Little in the 27 machine, currently running in the 8th spot. Almost 4 wide there, coming down the front straightaway. And there they go! Into the wall goes Kyle Craven, and he goes around. Oh, there's going to be more. Oh, no! Monaco gets collected, as does Bruno Diacomo, who spins out and refires the car coming into turn 1. Caution is out yet again. It flies on lap 77. And leading them back to the stripe, that indeed will be the 17 of CG Halt. 77 laps complete. We've gone about 60 laps without a caution up until now. We saw Kyle Craven. Terry Walker's on pit road. Looks like he probably might have gotten hooked. He might have gotten hooked on the front straightaway. Oh, look at Diacomo riding around the outside. He obviously got hooked on the front straightaway. But I thought he was going to have it saved, but that's not the case. Look at the beaten and battered number 28 machine. This is not what Kyle Craven needed whatsoever. With this DNF, if this does turn into a DNF, that means Kyle Craven is going to lose the runner-up spot in the points lead to Russell Blaze in the 69 machine. If Blaze manages to get a really good finish, that puts him right back in the Catberg seat in for the points championship between himself and Terry Walker. That would be absolutely huge if that happens. So CG Halt currently in command of this race and has been ever since the beginning portions of the event, let's go back and review that crash that happened with Kyle Craven and a couple others as well. Because I'm actually curious as to what really set that off, because it looked like it was 4 wide heading through, coming into turn 4, or coming off of turn 4, heading down the front straightaway. You see it right here. Craven's way up top, and you see Emily Anderson. Looks like the door's kind of open there. Phillips leaves that door open. Emily Anderson looks like she's going to take it. And right there, looks like Phillips comes up on the nose of the 45 of Atikian. That pushes both of them up into Kyle Craven, who loses control of his car. Atikian also loses control of his car, and he comes up and just left rears the 28. And that's what sends that 28 90 degrees facing the wrong direction. And then right here, there, oh, Terry got damage. Oh, Terry got damaged. That's why he came down to pit road. He got a little bit of right front fender damage. Oh my, that could change the game of the points right there. As we also saw Eric Monaco, Bruno Diacomo go for a spin. Unfortunately, Eric Monaco is going to be done for the day. Great heads up driving, by the way. Great brakes, by the way, for the 67 of Andrew Ramsey, and good heads up driving for not ramming into the back of the 95 of Diacomo. But let's go back and take a look at that again, this time at full speed. It's absolutely wild of how this wound up happening. And of all the drivers that this happened to, it happened to last week's winner, Kyle Craven. Saw a little bit of the damage there, that just that tiny little hit that Terry Walker got. Yeah, look at that right there. That's the damage that Terry is a little bit concerned about. That's why he came down to pit road as quickly as he did. Let's see if we can, let's test. I mean, I don't even know. We're actually going to follow along here with Terry. I'm a little concerned about doing onboard, so just be on the safe side. We're just going to follow along with Terry, but this time we're going to do it in little bits of slow motion here. Going to go with the aerial view, actually. Slow it down just a little bit more. You see he tries to get as low as he possibly can without coming down under the nose of Russell Blaze right there. Just that tiny little bit of contact is what sent the 48 down pit road ASAP. And you kind of noticed it there. Walker also did bounce off of Russell Blaze just a little bit. So think if that hit was a little bit more violent than what it could have been, that would have been game over for not only Terry Walker, but also Russell Blaze. Remember, Craven, Walker, and Blaze are all top 3 in the point standings, and they are neck and neck with one another coming into this one. But now that we have the knowledge of, obviously, Kyle Craven looks like he's going to go out of the race. Terry Walker has taken his car behind the wall. It has been confirmed. The game confirmed it. Terry Walker is out of this race, along with Kyle Craven. Actually, Kyle Craven, he's still sitting in the pits. The ticker's also glitched out, but you see it right there. A radiator issue for the 48 of Terry Walker. That is going to take him out of contention for this race. And more than likely, this definitely is going to guarantee him out of the points lead after today. So, if that's the case, we might be looking at a brand new points leader, and his name is Russell Blaze in the number 69. currently sitting in the 12th spot right now. With 79 laps complete, we're more than likely going to get this race restarted on lap 82. So as of right now, your top 10 looks like this. Coming to halfway. CG Halt, the leader. Nathan Stapleton sitting in the second position. Zachary Taylor third. Emily Anderson fourth. Alexander Rowe completing your top 5. Then it's Tanner Parton rounding out, who's more than likely going to restart in the 6th position. Then in 7th will be the 33 of Val Moscow. And I stand corrected, by the way, Russell Blaze will be restarting in 8th. Bruno Diacomo 9th. And Noah Clifton completes your top 10. This championship fight just got shaken up. The game just got changed as both Kyle Craven and Terry Walker go out of the race. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we're definitely going to see a new points leader, and I would not be one bit surprised if it was Russell Blaze. 1 to go. These drivers are going to go back under the green flag next time around. And all the lap cars are going to line up on the inside. All lead lap cars line up on the outside. So right around the halfway mark of this race, championship implications have struck again. But this time in a big way. In a very, very big way. That more than likely is going to put Russell Blaze right in the catbird seat to take the points lead after today. That is if he is able to finish this race out and get a strong finish on top of that too. Because the only other driver that would have had a shot at taking the points lead away was Skylar Taylor. Skylar came into this race with 364 points to their name. That's almost 30 points. Looks like a 27-point gap between Terry and Skylar. But I do believe Skylar Taylor running 31st right now. That seems pretty illogical. So the only other driver that is actually running pretty consistent right now, that is actually running inside of the top 10 that could take the points lead away, that would be Emily Anderson. Back to green. Right around the halfway mark of this race. CG Halt still holding on to that top position. Then running in the 2nd spot, that's Nathan Stapleton. He gets a really good jump on the restart, but meanwhile, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Lots of trouble trying to get by the lap traffic and the slow traffic of Perez and also the 88 or the 86 of Rogel Dorn. Lots of 3 wide action going on over here as Dorn is trapped in the middle. Russell Blaze picking off other cars one by one as now he works his way to the inside of the 4 of Emily Anderson coming off of turn number 2. Anderson's going to fight back on the outside as Stapleton takes the race lead away from CG Halt. A little bit more 3 wide action going on over here. Ooh, that was pretty close there between Zachary Taylor and Val Moscow. 85 almost got into the right rear of the 33. That would have been absolutely catastrophic if that collected about the rest of the field behind them. From these drivers on back, that is. Well, Bonsignor into the outside wall there coming off of turn 4. He's going to lose a lot of momentum. And that's going to allow Zachary Taylor to get to the inside of Bonsignor heading through turn number 2. 3 wide over here. At least there was a little bit of 3 wide action going on, but that has since then settled back down to 2 wide. As meanwhile, up at the front of the field, here comes CG Hall right back down to the inside of Nathan Stapleton. He's going to take that top, and he's going to actually take it across the stripe right there. Advantage 17. Getting around the 97 of Stapleton, now trying to hold off the challenge from Tanner Parton. Parton is very hungry for a race win. He hasn't won since Mosport in 2023. That was when Otter Island Motorsports was a part of WRLA. Obviously, they were a part of WRLA back in 2017, came back in 2023. Unfortunately, not here for 2025, but here's Tanner Parton. He's the only other driver that has stuck around that has raced for Otter Island Motorsports, and he really wants a race win pretty badly. 3 wide here. Oh, looks like Wayne Lopez. I think he might be coming to pit road. Actually, he clipped the apron a couple of times. So I thought he would have been making his way down into the pits. That's not the case. And he's still back out on the racetrack. Here's the challenge for the race lead. Russell Blaze taking it downstairs on Nathan Stapleton. Powerade versus Prime, the battle of the drinks. Stapleton making his way to the inside. Oh, Stapleton currently still holding on to this top spot, but CG Halt fighting with no surrender in this number 17. No quit whatsoever. We are past halfway. Of course, coming around to complete lap 89 this time around. Tanner Parton doing everything he can to try to get his first win, and he is absolutely showing it behind the wheel of the 07 as he takes it downstairs on Nathan Stapleton. Ooh, Zachary Taylor. He had that nose peek down low on the 92 of Fitzgerald there for a second for a good ways all the way through turns 1 and 2. Just was not able to make that run stick. Well, how about this? Nathan Stapleton now. I know I probably may jinx him here by talking about him, but we got to give Nathan Stapleton a pretty good nod here. Regardless if he wins or not, this has been a very good day here for Nathan Stapleton and NS Racing altogether. I mean, altogether, I'd say for the part of Nathan Stapleton, that is. But when you take a look at this race, I mean, obviously Stapleton has yet to win this year. He hasn't won in about 5.5 years. It's been since 2020 since he's gone to victory lane. And he's just had an abysmal year this year. Had some great runs. Unfortunately, the results have not backed up what we've been seeing on the track week in and week out. So as for Nathan Stapleton, it's great to see him running up at the front of the field, and I cannot wait to see him fighting for a race win when it comes down to that point. 70 laps to go. This time by, Roberto Crown Jr. scraping the wall coming off of turn number 2. He was running in the 15th position, but now he's going to lose a lot more ground as they come off of turn number 4. Looks like that was probably about 5 positions. Make that 4, actually, as Crown just barely edged out Andrew Miller across the stripe to retain the 19th position. So thankfully, we're still clean and green. How about Bruno Giacomo, by the way, who was involved in that lap 76 crash heading into turn 1? He got sent for a little loop when he got involved in that wreck with Eric Monaco. That was when Monaco wound up making contact with Kyle Craven, and just Giacomo was right there. The 95 wound up going for just a little loop-de-loop, a couple loops there going through turn 1. but managed to get the car refired and sent back and, you know, rolling on the racetrack. And here he is, he's still in this thing. He's running top 10 right now. I honestly thought he would have had a little bit of damage to this race machine, but it looks like it's all fixed up. It's all good to go. And Bruno Giacomo might have a shot at a top 10. Remember, he started on the pole in this race. Could very well go to victory lane after this is all said and done. I mean, you never know. You never, ever know here in the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series. Anything is possible. Look at Russell Blaze trying to take it downstairs on Nathan Stapleton, heading through turns 1 and 2. Not able to make the run work. He lost a lot of ground coming off of turn 2, and that's going to open the door for Alex Bonsignor to drive to the inside and take that second spot away. And CG Holt is going to come with him. Uh-oh. They're going to catch up to Rogel Dorn yet again. Working his way down the back straightaway as these drivers are coming off of turn 2 now. So now Stapleton and Bonsignor currently lead the charge. Blaze gets kicked back to 3rd. Ajax Fitzgerald now in 4th. Tanner Parton is going to complete your top 5 across the stripe. But things getting very interesting as we're about to reach the 100 lap mark of this race. 64 laps to go this time by, and it's Nathan Stapleton continuing to lead the charge here at Atlanta. But now that they've caught up to this number 86 of Rogel Dorn, I'm very curious as to what line they're going to take. Oh, CG Hulk gets into the outside wall. Manages to keep the car straight and out of trouble, so we stay green. But meanwhile, here goes Stapleton to the inside. Looks like Bonsignor is going to take advantage, and he will follow. And for the second time, Russell Blaze got held up by his teammate, but thankfully it wasn't for longer than 2 laps. Parton and Fitzgerald are going to try to work their way down low on Rogel Dorn. But now the trouble of trying to get by this 86 is going to restart. It's going to begin yet again. And these drivers are still, I mean, these drivers are going to have a really fun time because look at this. The pack is starting to get stacked up. You saw right there heading down the back straightaway. They are absolutely stacking it up. Just trying to get by this 86 of Rogel Dorn. But Dorn is unfortunately not doing any favors, just staying up on the second line and just bouncing back and forth from top to bottom. Because all that's happening is just that's holding up both lines, what it seems like. Top 4 is Blue Dabu Dee Dabu Die. 4 out of the 5 cars inside of the top 5 are all blue. That is another episode of Useless Facts here for the WRLA Pepsi Cup competition. Let's take a look further in the back, because it looked like some of those drivers, I mean, obviously they're a little bit more stacked up. A little bit of double file action happening over here. Ooh. Zachary Taylor got pretty close. I thought he was going to try to go around the outside of Rogel Dorn, and it looks like he will here. And he's trying. He's got that line's opened up, so he could very well do it. Oh, he just cuts from top to bottom. slices it from top to bottom. That is actually some very impressive driving for Zachary Taylor in the 85. He's going to bring Val Moscow with him. But how about that there from Zachary Taylor? Great piece of driving for the 85 machine. Very, very, very impressive stuff. Let's check in with both of the Maguire Motorsports cars. Here they are. Right now, they're currently running 25th and 26th. So for Janiyah Hill, she's running about 7, now 8 spots worse than what she started and where she started. But as for Bobby Maguire, he wound up starting 29th on the grid, and position wise after these last 106, now 107 laps coming up, he hasn't really gained a lot of positions, realistically speaking. He's gotten as high up as, I want to say, 21st, but hasn't really gone anywhere since then. Maybe a caution could change all that for Maguire. How about Nia Steidel here in this number 6? She's been pretty quiet since pretty much all race long. Really running in the 14th position. Now is having her fair share of troubles trying to get by the 86 of Rogel Dorn. Ooh, but advantage is going to go to Steidel here because Dorn is now up on the outside, holding up in the 92 of Ajax Fitzgerald. But now that outside line is going to get a great run coming off of turn number 2. And that is exactly what Fitzgerald needed to catapult himself into the 14th position. Meanwhile, up front, here's the battle for second. Tanner Parton down on the inside of Russell Blaze. Emily Anderson now challenging. She's now up into the 3rd position. Parton falls back to 4th. Is definitely going to fall into the clutches of Alex Bonsignor, who goes way high through 3 and 4. So Bonsignor is going to fend off the challenge of the 17 of CG Halt. There's Noah Clifton in the 99, currently scored in the 7th position. Reagan Whitlock, Joshua Cornish currently scored 8th and 9th right now. So great run for Cornish and also Reagan Whitlock as well. We're also closing in on 111 laps complete now. And we only have, give about 62 laps to go now. So anything can happen here within these next few laps. We could see potentially one more caution that could shake the field up one more time. It could shake the field up one more time. Obviously, pit strategy is probably going to look a little bit different than what it did earlier in the going. I'd say right around lap 60-ish. 60 laps, 65-ish if possible, but looks like everybody currently just running in a single file train, at least for the moment. But now you got Noah Clifton kind of just sitting there on the bottom and is going to lose the 5th position to Tanner Parton, as now the 99 tucks in front of the 17 of CG Holt. Oh, look at Parton just riding around the outside. This time he's going to go for the 4th position on Alex Bonsignor. So now Bonsignor is going to lose 2 spots. He had absolutely no help down there on the inside. And now you got CG Halt. Actually, wait a minute. Hold up. Here comes Halt. Halt is coming on in on lap 114. 114 laps complete now as the leaders cross the stripe. Got a couple more cars coming on in. Looks like that's the 04. That's Quentin Moore. You also have Ray Atikian in the 45. He's in. So now that means we could very well see Nathan Stapleton come on down. But what is the strategy of Russell Blaze? Is he going to stay out? Yes, he will actually. Along with Nathan Stapleton. So I'd say these other drivers are probably going to give it just a little bit longer before they come on down pit road and make their stops. Maybe another lap or two, but we'll see exactly what happens here. Back into turn 3. Yep, here there goes Cornish. Cornish is coming on in. Nathan Stapleton pits, but Russell Blaze is going to stay out. Blaze stays out along with Emily Anderson, Tanner Parton, and Alex Bonsignor. Clifton and Reagan Whitlock is amongst the lead pack. And then you take a look at the cars that came on down pit road. You obviously saw Nathan Stapleton. He's in. Bruno Diacomo comes on in. Fitzy, Cornish, Moscow, they're all in. And now here comes Russell Blaze along with the 4 of Emily Anderson. The 07 of Tanner Parton. 85, Zachary Taylor, he's in. Who all else is coming on down? I do believe I saw Roberto Crown Jr. He's in, along with Alexander Rowe and Andrew Ramsey. They're in. Bonsignor assumes the top spot, followed by the 99 of Noah Clifton. They both come in. Reagan Whitlock is going to stay out. So now it looks like that's going to hand the race lead over to Ryan Little. At least for this lap. But man, look at this pack right here. This pack is just all on top of each other. Just running double file. At least for the moment. That was a huge checkup on the bottom from Andrew Miller. I think a lot of it just has to do with all these other cars that are just coming back out coming out from the pits and rejoining the racing surface. So some of them are just checking up pretty hard just to make sure that they don't get into the back of those cars. But I'm also fairly certain we've yet to see some of these other guys come on down. Oh man, that was a huge check up there. The tires are definitely making all the difference right here. Make their way into the corner. Ooh, that was pretty close there. Emily Anderson with a full head of steam almost hit Noah Clifton. That was actually a very, very close call. Oh my, oh my. Look at this. Everybody else on like Anderson, Clifton, Bonsignor, they're all on fresher tires, so they're pulling up to drivers like McGuire and Abby Walker, and they're all just blasting right on by them because the tires that these drivers are on, Walker, McGuire, Hill, just to name a few, those tires are probably at least 50 laps old. What seems like. So we're probably going to see these cars come on down pit road here fairly soon. I would not be one bit surprised, and I think Abby Walker might be making the move. I'm not too sure yet, but look at CG Hall. He's going to just take him way downstairs, make it 3 wide. And oh boy, that could have been absolutely catastrophic there. Abby Walker was just the meat in that sandwich as CG Hall is just going to blast off into outer space with that run right there. And he's going to bring Joshua Cornish with him. Stapleton on fresh tires. He's going to work his way to the inside of the 3 of McGuire. And remember, I do believe, yeah, some of these drivers, it's actually kind of interesting of the strategy that we're seeing here, because here's Reagan Whitlock. Whitlock right now is the race leader. Everybody else, we only have those 16 cars that are on the lead lap. Russell Blaze on down are all 1 lap down or more. What kind of strategy? This is actually a pretty impressive strategy because you see Reagan Whitlock just stretching it out as far as she can go, along with even drivers like Ryan Little, Ajax Fitzgerald, Bobby McGuire. They're all stretching it out as far as they can when it comes to fuel. Because, I mean, the possible concern is, they may not be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel. So, who knows? These drivers might be thinking just 2 steps ahead of all the rest of the other drivers that came in and pitted right around lap 95-ish. Here comes Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald cannot go any longer. He is in, along with Stephen Colon. Aaron Abel has come on in to the pits as well. Same for Wyatt Walker in the 19. He's down and away. Rogel Doran finally makes his pit stop. Let's see who else is going to make their way onto pit road. 3 wide over here. Man, this is actually a very, very interesting strategy that some of these drivers are pulling off here. At least drivers that are in the tops, that are running top 16 right now. Here comes Fitzgerald, making his way back out on the track. Same for Aaron Abel and Stephen Colon. Wyatt Walker already made his way out. So now Walker currently running right back in 32nd, 1 lap down. So right here, I'm fairly certain would be the fight for the race lead and possibly the win. If things kind of cycle back around, Bobby McGuire is in. Same for Braden Perez. Sebastian Vaughn, Abby Walker, Ryan Little, they're in. So now all these other cars that had stayed out for as long as they did, they finally have made their pit stops. They're back out on the racetrack. And there are still some that have yet to make their stops. Reagan Whitlock is in. So now, looking at what we're seeing here, Russell Blaze would be shown as the race. Oh no! Oh no! Blaze and McGuire make contact. Oh my God. Oh no! Adding insult to injury is Sebastian Vaughn, sending the 69 back down in front of the 3. You have got to be joking. You have got to be absolutely joking. What did we just witness? What in the world did we just witness? I can't believe it. I can't believe what I just saw. And Russell Blaze is out. Blaze is out of the race. So the top 3 in the championship have been eliminated from winning this race. And out from the smoke comes Emily Anderson with the lead, mind you. I'm honestly, I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know. I'm actually flabbergasted by what I just witnessed. Russell Blaze, who is working his way through traffic, made contact with Bobby McGuire, who was making his way back out on the track. Both drivers get together. They wound up wrecking one another. Going into 3, it looked like Blaze was going to have his car saved, and then obviously Sebastian Vaughn comes in and delivers the insult to injury, if you will, and sends the 69 car right back in front of the nose of McGuire's car. And unfortunately, that damage that Blaze sustained in that crash was enough to take him out of contention, not just to take the points lead, but also to win this race. Ladies and gentlemen, draw your own conclusion. Here's what happened. See, McGuire, he's trying to make his way back out on the racetrack. He comes up. Actually, he blends back up on the track. And Blaze is just already way down. He's already merged into 2 lanes. I'm not sure why he didn't merge back into the second lane right where Emily Anderson was at. He was way lower, in my opinion, than where he should have been. Had he been in that complete second line, this wouldn't have happened. But Blaze winds up getting it saved and corrected. And then here comes Sebastian Vaughn. I believe Blaze was trying to make his way down onto the apron, and then Vaughn, of course, just hits him square in the back bumper. And Blaze, once again, just losing control of his car. And gets sent right back down in front of the 3's nose. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable of what we just witnessed here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in the closing stages of the Quaker State 400. Let's go ahead, look at it one more time, this time at full speed. That was a hard hit into the inside wall there for Russell Blaze. And then right there, man, I'm pretty sure McGuire and Blaze, they're going to have words for one another. I mean, especially for Blaze. Blaze is definitely going to have some words by the time this race is over. For the second week in a row, Blaze gets taken out of contention for a race win, but to also take the points lead away after today. And that is definitely super unfortunate to see, as you see Russell Blaze take his car back behind the wall. And after all of that, I mean, of course, as I mentioned, the only other driver that is actually that is actually within arm's reach, that is still in the race, is actually Emily Anderson. Because remember, she came into this race, as I'm going to go back and look at this. Emily Anderson came into this race 6th in the point standings. But then you also have Stephen Colon, who came into this race 5th in the point standings. 357 points to his name. Emily Anderson has 345 points to her name. But in my personal opinion, I feel like Emily Anderson's going to come out with the advantage because she's getting bonus points for getting, well, of course, 8 bonus point for leading a lap. But I don't think she's going to get the bonus point for leading the most laps. I would definitely most likely say that for those 5 bonus points would go to CG Halt, who has been running absolutely exceptional here in this race. Is our ticker's back? Nice. But Cologne, as of right now, he's actually, if I can actually find him, where's he at? He's actually running 26th right now on the racetrack. 1 lap down. So yeah, I would definitely say the only other driver that is inside of the top 10 and is still technically within contention to take the points lead away and within championship contention is Emily Anderson, because she's still running on the racetrack and she's leading the thing. So there's a pretty good chance that we could see Emily Anderson walk away with win number 3 on the schedule, but we still got a good ways to go. We're going to be within 30 laps to go when we go back to green this time by. So let's go ahead and review your top 10 running order as we close in on the restart here within a couple laps time. Emily Anderson, currently the race leader. Noah Clifton running in 2nd. Alex Bonsignor in 3rd. Then it's CG Halt in 4th. Rounding out your top 5, that is Joshua Cornish, and it's Nathan Stapleton still inside of the top 10 right now. So he has a pretty good shot at winning this race if lap traffic is going to well, I mean, obviously if lap traffic will not prove to be an issue as we get one to go this time by. Zachary Taylor currently running in 7th. Then running in 8th is the 95 of Bruno Diacomo, Zachary Fitzwater in 9th. And rounding out your top 10, that would be Val Moscow. So 21 cars left on the lead lap. Wyatt Walker currently running 21st. He is the last car running on the lead lap currently. Janiah Hill still in this race. She's 22nd, 1 lap down. Bobby McGuire, well, if you're wondering exactly where he's at after being involved in that crash with Russell Blaze, he currently is running 32nd, 1 lap down. Blaze joins Terry Walker and Kyle Craven, the other 2 drivers running in the top 3 in the point standings in the garage area, along with Eric Monaco, Campbell Marsh, Jordan Sumner, and Jerry and Caleb Rose. So currently we have 34 cars still running on the track, 21 left on the lead lap. Emily Anderson trying to score win number 3 on the Pepsi Cup Series circuit. What will the outcome of this race look like? What will the final 30 laps look like? Here in the Quaker State 400, can Emily Anderson score her 3rd win on the season? Or will Noah Clifton, Alex Bonsier, CG Halt, or even Joshua Cornish take it away? Here we go. Green is out. 30 laps to go. Oh, look at Wayne Lopez in the 1. Already taking it downstairs, 3 wide. He doesn't even care if his teammate is up on the extreme outside line. He wants to get back on the lead lap as quickly as possible. And there's a pretty good chance that it might happen. Look at Claire Phillips following suit in the number 5. Abby Walker down there as well. All the lead lap cars lined up on the extreme outside line until you get to Zachary Taylor in the 85. He's down there on the bottom. But 3 wide. Currently, at least in the second part of the pack, Claire Phillips and Wayne Lopez, they're out front, but they are on the tail end of the lead lap. Oh, that could have gotten very catastrophic if that turned into 4 wide. Oh, a little bit of contact between Abby Walker and Janiah Hill as they head through turn 1. Hill just almost practically doored the 18 of Abby Walker there as they headed down the front straightaway that last lap around. But Noah Clifton down on the inside going to take the top position away from the 4 of Emily Anderson. Alex Bonsignor is going to follow suit. Anderson falls to 3rd. CG Halt waiting in the wings. And then you have Nathan Stapleton and Joshua Cornish a little bit further in the back. But in order for them to have any sort of chance at winning this race, they are going to have to absolutely pick and fight their way through the other cars that are a lap down or more in order to get back into contention to win this thing. Clifton still holding on to the top spot. Now I'm going to try to see if he can take it downstairs on both of the EGI cars, starting with Wayne Lopez. Might try to go to work here on Claire Phillips right about now, actually. There he goes to the inside. He might have gotten 1 EGI car. Now he's trying to go for the second one, but he doesn't have any help on the bottom. And the outside line is going to start to freight train him around the turns. Bonsignor moves to the second lane, now moves it downstairs. Remember, both of these drivers trying to go for their first wins of the season. Emily Anderson trying to go for her 3rd. CG Halt trying to go for his first on the year. Try to get a little bit of rebound for a little bit of a rebound for Walker Family Motorsports. It's been an absolutely masterful run here for the 17 of CG Hall, who came into this race 31st in the points standings. He could definitely be the guy that shakes up the points, if you will, by the time this race is all said and done. Possibly might move himself inside of the top 30. More than likely could be the case. Closing in now on 20 laps of racing to go here in the Quaker State 400 in the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it is going to be a doozy. Alex Bonsignor takes the race lead away from Noah Clifton. Coming off of turn number 4 across the stripe, new leader, it's Alex Bonsignor, who's trying to win his first race since Talladega in the spring of 2017, the first year of WRLA Pepsi Cup competition. It would be absolutely huge if Bonsignor went to victory lane. It was pretty big when Quentin Moore got his first Pepsi Cup Series win after 8 years of trying. For Bonsignor, he's trying to get his first win since 2017. It's been an absolute struggle for Bonsignor to try to keep up and, well, obviously not just to try to keep up, but to also try to at least be in contention. But now in the late stages of the season, he's there and he's trying to win this race, but he just got absolutely just whizzed right on by. It was obviously Noah Clifton just went right on by. He takes over the top spot. And here's Nia Steidel. Right now running 27th, one lap down. Sebastian Vaughn on the outside wall, further in the background. But we still keep it clean and green, at least for the moment. 20 laps of racing to go, now coming to 19 laps to go. And the fight for the lead and potentially the race win is taking place in the middle of this pack right here. You got a lot of these other cars that are trying to fight to get back on the lead lap and try to stay on the lead lap. But you also have other cars that are trying to fight for this race win in the midst of all of this. All these other 5 cars, Lopez, Phillips, Walker, Miller, and Hill, they're all on the lead lap right now. They're trying to stay on the lead lap currently and hope and pray for at least one more caution to come out so that way they can get back into contention. But if you're Alex Bonsignor in the 22, you're just hoping and praying that that lap traffic is on your side and hope that moves like this don't happen. Here comes the 4 of Emily Anderson down to the inside. Looks like she's going to try to take over that second spot. So move the 4 of Anderson up to the runner-up position to try to go for, and trying to go for this race lead on Noah Clifton. Trying to get NS Racing their first win of the season. Steidel gets by Noah Clifton, and that opens the door wide open for Alex Bonsignor to pull up and try to make a pass on the 99 of Clifton. He's right there on the back bumper. He's peeking the nose down low just a little bit. Oh, Stapleton into the outside wall there, coming off of turn number 2. But it hasn't slowed him down. We stay green. Cornish making his way down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get by the 97 of Stapleton. But Stapleton's going to prevail on that outside line, and he retains that 5th position, at least for the moment. But that outside line is going to pass him right on by. Cornish, that is going to pass him right on by. And it looks like Cornish is going to fall back to what looks like the 9th position. Ooh, a little bit of contact there as they all caught Rogel Dorn. Ooh, that's not going to be good news for anybody whatsoever, especially if you are a lead lap car. You practically do not have anywhere to go currently because now that outside line is getting held up. Lopez and Miller are up there. Bonsignor makes his way down to the bottom. He's going to stay within the tire tracks of the 99 of Clifton as they make their way through turns 3 and 4. But Emily Anderson gets absolutely shut out. At least for the moment, that opens up the door for Zachary Taylor to try to fight for this third position. That pulls Stapleton back into the mix. Ajax Fitzgerald, who has been on an absolute tear of consistency throughout the year. And now here he is. He's going to try to fight hard for yet another top 5. He's well on his way to doing that. Well on his way to achieving that. Clifton gets around Wayne Lopez, who absolutely just careened the outside wall. And he actually gets a pretty good gap on the 22 of Bonsignor, who is just 0.8 of a second behind. Nearly a full 10th right there. Zachary Taylor now up to third, challenging, just stalking Alex Bonsignor, who's trying to chase the 99 of Clifton right back down, but it looks like Clifton is practically out of here as he increases the gap by almost a full second, by a little over a full second to be more specific. Coming down to it, 10 fingers will be up in the air. 10 laps of racing to go here in the Quaker Safe 400 here at Atlanta. Clifton leads the charge. Bonsignor in second. Chews away at the lead just a little bit. Zachary Taylor in third. Emily Anderson fourth. Ajax Fitzgerald completes your top 5. Then it's Parton, Stapleton, Cornish, Holt, and Whitlock all completing your top 10 as they come to 9 to go. It's not over just yet. If Bonsignor can keep picking away the lead just a little bit more, lap after lap, he might be able to have a shot. But he also has to hope and pray that Noah Clifton runs into a slower car, which that's not until you get over to Quentin Moore. He's working his way over to turn 2 on the full other side of the racetrack. So a caution probably would have to come here in order for there to be any ounce of racing left to be done here for obviously the conclusion of this race. But Clifton's still trying to hang on. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Fitzgerald and Parton. Some debris kind of flew up into the air there, coming off of probably Fitzgerald's car. But thankfully, no wreck there. We stay green. Oh, Bonsignor is starting to chew away the lead a little bit more. It's now down to 2/3 of a second. Zachary Taylor still waiting in the wings. Fitzgerald in the wall again. As is Valkyrie Atikian, almost comes down in front of the nose of another car. Very, very close calls currently as of right now. The tires definitely probably is going to be an issue for some of these drivers in the closing stages of this event. The gap still 2/3 of a second. Nothing has changed between the 99 and the 22. Zachary Taylor still stalking in third. Anderson in fourth. More than likely, definitely more than likely, she is going to be your new points leader leaving today here at Atlanta before we get ready for Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time and on October 4th. And then from there, October on to November is going to be a very, very busy final few weeks for points-paying races in the WRLA Pepsi Cup Series, coming to 4 laps of racing to go. Clifton trying to hang on to get his first win since Bristol in 2023 when he won that race on the dirt. But now the gap is down to 0.4 of a second. Almost to 1/3 of a second. As they're now down to 4 to go. coming to now on 3.5 laps to go. That gap continuing to be chewed away just a little bit more lap after lap. But as they come to 3 to go, is Bonsignor going to be able to take that point? Is going to be able to take this race lead away? Possibly, as the gap is now down to less than 1/3 of a second with 3 to go. Bonsignor closing in just a little bit more. Almost to the back bumper of the 99. Coming through turn number 4 this time around. 2 fingers up in the air. Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps of racing to go. And that gap is practically gone. Just about 2/10 between the 99 and the 22. Can Clifton hold off the challenge of Alex Bonsignor? Ooh, Cologne gets into the outside wall in the background. But he keeps it straight. No caution. Coming around through turn number 4. The white flag falls. Noah Clifton leads it. Will he be leading coming back to the checker? Let's find out. 0.13 seconds is the gap between Clifton and Bonsignor. Bonsignor is practically right there, but he's not close enough to make a challenge. Down the back straightaway they go one final time, heading into the 3rd corner. It has finally happened. NS Racing is going to go to victory lane, but it's going to be with Noah Clifton as he wins the Quaker Safe 400 here in Atlanta. Bonsignor is going to come home in 2nd. Zachary Taylor finishing in 3rd. Emily Anderson in 4th. Fitzgerald completes your top 5. Then it's Tanner Parton finishing in 6th. Nathan Stapleton coming home in 7th. As a team owner, he has to be a happy camper. Then it's Reagan Whitlock coming home in 8th. Joshua Cornish 9th. And rounding out your top 10, that will be the 27 of Ryan Little. What a race. What a very chaotic, wild, thrilling race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. There's a look at the rest of your finishing results right there. Moscow on down to Andrew Miller. They all finished on the lead lap. And then you take a look at the great rebound, by the way, for Wyatt Walker, by the way, finishing in the 12th position. How about that? Attaboy Wyatt. Great rebound for him, so he'll get some pretty good points, so he might be able to move his way up through the standings after tonight. But there you see Stephen Cologne, Valkyrie Atikian, Sebastian Vaughn, Ray Atikian, McGuire, Perez, and Dorn. They all finished 1 lap down or more, and there's the retirees of the race. Our top 3 in the point standings who will no longer be the top 3, more than likely. I mean, obviously the points are going to get shaken up quite a bit after tonight. Russell Blaze, Terry Walker, Kyle Craven, along with Eric Monaco, Campbell Marsh, Jordan Sumner, and Jerry and Caleb Rose. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what else to really say, but a huge congratulations to Noah Clifton on securing his first win of the season, his 3rd Pepsi Cup Series win overall, and the first on the year for NS Racing. If you are in the WRLA Discord, be sure to keep an eye on the point standings as soon as this premiere concludes. Those will be coming your way here after this premiere concludes, as I just said. But anyways, big congratulations to Noah Clifton on winning this race. The points are definitely going to be looking very, very different once we go to Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time on October 4th. That race will be taking place at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 4th of October. That's probably going to be a pretty good race, if anything, when it comes down to strategy. So it is definitely going to be very interesting to see who's going to have the best strategy, who's going to have the best qualifying spot. It's all going to be fun. So be sure to come watch WRLA Pepsi Cup Series racing from Watkins Glen. It's going to be our first trip to Watkins Glen since 2017, actually. So that should be pretty fun. All the action starts on the 4th of October, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But in the meantime, Your points will be coming your way very shortly if you're watching the premiere. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button. And if you haven't considered subscribing, I recommend you do so in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And if you're watching this live on the Twitch channel, be sure to hit the follow button so you don't miss future streams and future WRLA Pepsi Cup races that get broadcasted live right here on Twitch. One more time, big congratulations to Noah Clifton on securing his first win of the season, the first for NS Racing, and the third of his career. Have yourselves a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Take care, and we'll talk to you guys at Watkins Glen.